Chapter 3560. Ridiculous! You're courting death. The red-skinned elder waved his sleeves, his eyes filled with disgust. On the platform, Man Ning and the other 6 youths shook their heads with a sneer. In their opinion, Lu Ming was courting death. However, they wouldn't stop him. If he was courting death, why should they stop him? Moreover, killing wasn't prohibited in today's competition. It was normal for someone to be killed. On the other hand, Ku Dao was taken aback. The surprise came too suddenly. Originally, he wanted to kill Lu Ming. However, given his cultivation, it was really embarrassing for him to challenge a first-level divine lord. However, Lu Ming had taken the initiative to challenge him. If that wasn't a surprise, then what was? Alright, since you're so confident, if I don't accept, then I won't give you a chance to show off. I accept your challenge. Ku Dao said hurriedly, afraid that Lu Ming would go back on his word. Then, let the first round begin. Man Ning spoke and waved his hand. The figures of the people in the fighting ring flashed, and all of them left the fighting ring to watch the fight. Only Lu Ming and Ku Dao were left in the fighting ring. Kid, I'll give you a chance to make your move. I'll let you make 3 moves. If you have any trump cards, feel free to use them. You won't have a chance to use them later. Ku Dao looked at Lu Ming with an arrogant expression. I wanted to say that to you. Since you're so confident, then forget it. I'll make my move first. Lu Ming said. Many people almost laughed out loud. The reason why they did not laugh was that Lu Ming had already made his move. Afterward, the expression on their faces changed from sneering disdain to shock and deep fear. Boom! Lu Ming made his move. He activated the battle character manual and increased his combat strength by 5 times. Then, the 11 types of divine power in his body exploded. He even used the power of the Sovereign's divine power after the 5th awakening. Then, the Sovereign's gate formed and became 10,000 feet tall. It pressed down on Ku Dao. After all, Ku Dao was a 3rd-level divine lord. To be able to reach this realm at such a young age, he must be very talented. He was a proud son of heaven. Lu Ming would not underestimate him. He used a powerful force right from the start. Only the primordial divine body hadn't been used. Of course, the power of the primordial divine body hadn't been activated either. Even so, it was still extremely terrifying. The boundless power of the Gate of Domination caused everyone's expression to change. As for Ku Dao, his expression changed drastically. He felt as if a planet was crashing down on him. He knew that he had misjudged Lu Ming. Lu Ming was a terrifying expert. Then, with a furious roar, he unleashed all of his power and slashed out. A vast and resplendent saber light slashed towards Lu Ming. Ku Dao wasn't weak. He had awakened his Origin Divine Power Factor 4 times and had mastered Origin's secret arts. He was much stronger than the old man who had tried to rob Lu Ming. However, the result was still destined. There was no way he could compete with Lu Ming. Boom! Under the suppression of the Gate of Domination, Ku Dao's saber gleam vibrated violently before it exploded with a loud bang. A violent force bombarded Ku Dao's body. Ku Dao screamed and retreated rapidly, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. He looked at Lu Ming in horror. The scene fell into a deathly silence. At this moment, there was no longer any ridicule on their faces. There was only shock, and confusion. One move. In just one move, Ku Dao had coughed up blood and been forced to retreat. How was that possible? That was a 1st-level divine lord. How could he defeat a 3rd-level divine lord in one move? This, the red-skinned old man's eyes bulged. His mouth was so wide that he could swallow a goose egg. His old face had already turned purplish-black from shame. Before, he had said that Lu Ming was overestimating himself and was arrogant. He was disgusted by Lu Ming's performance. But now, Lu Ming had used his actions to show him that Lu Ming was truly confident. That was because he had the strength to back it up. It was him who had been short-sighted, a frog at the bottom of a well, unable to see. At this moment, he wished he could buy a block of tofu and kill himself. This was too embarrassing. On the platform, Man Ning and the other 6 young men rose to their feet with astounded expressions. A monster. After a while, Man Ning spat out those 2 words. She was pleasantly surprised. For Lu Ming to be able to defeat Ku Dao in one move meant that he was probably on the same level as her. Even if he was weaker, the difference wouldn't be by much. This would be a great help in their journey to the dragon race's mother planet. First move. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke slowly. Then, his divine power continuously surged into the gate of domination, preparing to launch a second attack. Damn it. Ku Dao roared inside. He knew that he definitely wasn't a match for Lu Ming. The only way to survive was to run. He turned into a ray of saber light and retreated down the stage. You want to leave now? Too late. Let's talk after 3 moves. Lu Ming icily said. Following this, the wind extinguisher boots appeared and merged with his feet. Lu Ming turned into a ray of light and chased after Ku Dao. An essence secret art. A second essence secret art. As soon as the wind extinguisher boots appeared, the crowd went into an uproar. Lu Ming actually had a second essence secret art. Ancient cultivation method. He is cultivating the ancient cultivation method. No wonder he is so powerful. Someone roared, thinking that he had seen through Lu Ming's secrets. However, before he could finish his words, there was a loud clang. Lu Ming waved his hand and the void-shattering sword flew out. It tore through the air and instantly caught up with Ku Dao. A third essence secret art. Everyone was stunned. The red-skinned elder's face had already turned into an eggplant. His body was trembling, and he wished he could find a crack to hide in. Of course, Lu Ming's essence secret art did not activate the power to sever the shackles. Otherwise, everyone's eyes would have popped out. Puchi! The Voidbreaker slashed out and directly cut Ku Dao in 2. Then, the gate of domination came crashing down. Spare me, spare me! Ku Dao screamed in horror. But Lu Ming's eyes were cold and he was unmoved. The gate of domination came crashing down with the force of 10,000 caddies, bringing with it a destructive force. Boom! Ku Dao screamed, and his body exploded. His body and soul were destroyed. As for the interspatial ring, Lu Ming grabbed it and put it away. The crowd was silent as they stared blankly at Lu Ming. A monster. A word appeared in their minds. Yes, a monster. Lu Ming was definitely a monster. Otherwise, how could he kill an opponent who was 2 levels higher than him? Moreover, it was a crushing defeat. Only the word, monster, could describe Lu Ming. I want one of the 6 spots. Anyone who's not convinced, come up and fight. Lu Ming's gaze swept across the crowd. No one said a word. Ku Dao had been crushed. Who would dare to go up? Ku Dao was considered strong among 3rd-level divine lords. He had mastered an essence secret art, and his essence divine power factor had awakened 4 times. Many 3rd-level divine lords had not only not mastered an essence secret art, but their essence divine power factor had also only awakened 3 times. If Ku Dao was no match for him, wouldn't they be courting death? Chapter 3561. Lu Ming waited for a long time, but no one went up to fight with him. Since there's no one, then I'll take this spot. Lu Ming spoke, looking at Man Ning on the platform. Brother, with your combat strength, you should get a spot. Man Ning nodded, very satisfied with Lu Ming's combat strength. Although he was only a 1st-level divine lord, his combat strength was astonishing. Going to the dragon race's mother planet together, he believed that it would be of great use. Lu Ming nodded, his figure moved, landing on the platform. Alright, there are still 5 spots left. For the sake of fairness, let's fight one-on-one and choose the strongest, nameless. Man Ning spoke. With Lu Ming's example, he did not dare to underestimate 1st-level and 2nd-level divine lords. What if there was another person like Lu Ming? After some discussion, the competition began. On the battle platform, intense battles broke out. It was very tragic and people were killed from time to time. However, it was naturally impossible for someone like Lu Ming to appear again. Almost no one could cross levels to fight. Some 3rd-level divine lords defeated other opponents in a crushing manner. 10 days later, the competition ended, and the final 5 spots were all out. Lu Ming also saw the battles in these few days and more or less had an idea in his heart. Some proud sons of heaven were generally like Ku Dao, Their origin divine power factor had undergone 4 awakenings, mastering Origin's secret techniques and some other powerful secret techniques. However, no one had severed the shackles using Origin's secret techniques, nor did he see the Origin divine power factor undergo 5 awakenings. It seemed that even in the sacred fire saber sect, it was very difficult for those below 3rd level divine lord to undergo 5 awakenings or sever the shackles of Origin's secret techniques. You all come with me, rest for a few days, then set off, Man Ning said. After that, Man Ning arranged accommodation for Lu Ming and the others. Soon 2 days passed. 2 days later, they set off and came to a planet not far from the wormhole, meeting up with the other 2 groups of people. However, as soon as Man Ning and the others arrived on this planet, Man Ning received the news and asked her to bring them for a gathering. Soon, Lu Ming saw the other 2 groups of people in a large open space. Just like them, there was an elite disciple of the Sacred Fire Saber sect leading 12 experts. Lu Ming swept a glance over and discovered that the other 2 groups of people were all 3rd-level Divine Lord existences. The 3 sides sized each other up, their eyes flickering. Although they were from the same sect, once they entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet and encountered fortuitous opportunities, it was very likely that they would become competitors and snatch resources from each other. 1. At this moment, ripples appeared in the space, and a few figures suddenly appeared in the air. A powerful aura filled the air. Quasi-Emperor. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The people who suddenly appeared were a white-haired old man and 2 burly men. What made Lu Ming's expression turn grave was that these 3 were all quasi-emperors. In the Sacred Fire Saber School, the Divine Emperor Realm Warriors were the top warriors. Normally, they wouldn't come out. If the Divine Emperor didn't come out, the Quasi-Emperor Realm was the strongest. Greetings to the 3 elders. Man Ning and the others bowed. No need to be so courteous. The white-haired old man in the middle waved his hand and said, "There is still more than a month before the departure time. I have called you here at the last minute because I have bad news to tell you." Bad news? Everyone's hearts sank and their expressions changed. They stared at the white-haired old man, waiting for his answer. The Sacred Sparrow tribe originally gave us 39 places, which is just enough to form 3 small teams. However, not long ago, the Sacred Sparrow tribe sent news that there are not enough places. They can only send 26 people. The white-haired old man said. 26 people. Everyone's hearts sank and their expressions turned ugly. There were originally 39 people, but now there were only 26 people left. This meant that 1/3 of the people would be eliminated. Elder, why did you suddenly reduce the number of places? Man Ning asked. They are afraid of competition. By reducing our number, the Sacred Sparrow tribe will face less competition. Humph, they have received benefits from us and yet they are playing such tricks. The white-haired old man snorted coldly and was very unhappy. However, the Sacred Sparrow tribe was a powerful tribe on the Eldritch 10,000 tribe list. No matter how unhappy they were, there was nothing they could do. Since you have already formed a team, we will not split you up. Our opinion is that only 2 of the 3 small teams can go. The other team can only stay. The white-haired old man said. Everyone's hearts sank again. Only 2 of the 3 small teams could go, and one of them would be eliminated. The 3 small teams sized each other up. At this moment, they were emitting a strong sense of hostility. None of them wanted to give up. The dragon race's mother planet was the mother planet of a huge tribe. It had been sealed for dozens of stellar years. Now that it had recovered, the opportunity was unimaginable. If they seized this opportunity, they might be able to soar into the sky and compete with the top elites of the Eldritch universe. Elder, I think that only the 2 strongest teams can go to the dragon race's mother planet. The stronger one is, the more opportunities they can seize and obtain. At this moment, a young man in a purple robe said. He was wearing a purple feather coat and looked rich. Zine, which team do you think is the weakest? The white-haired old man asked. It's obvious that Man Ning's team should be eliminated. Zine pointed at Man Ning's team. Zine, what did you say? My team is the weakest? Which eye did you use to see that? Man Ning said coldly. Like Man Ning, Xing was also one of the 3 elite disciples of the Sacred Fire Saber sect and the leader of a team. Which eye did you use to see that? I can see with both eyes that the strength of your team is uneven. Even a first-level Divine Lord trash is in it. It can be seen that your team's strength is really not that good. Xing revealed a disdainful smile and glanced at Lu Ming. The others were almost the same. They looked at Lu Ming and revealed a disdainful smile. Even a first-level Divine Lord could be selected. It could be seen that Man Ning's team was very weak. Xing, do you think you can judge a person's strength by cultivation alone? Although Lu Ming is only a first-level Divine Lord, his battle strength is very strong and won't lose to anyone. Man Ning said. Haha, very strong battle strength? Man Ning, you really know how to stick gold on your face? Xing laughed loudly, the disdain on his face becoming even thicker as he said, a first-level Divine Lord, how strong can he be? Man Ning, you wouldn't want to say that he's comparable to a third-level Divine Lord, right? If that's really the case, then it's not that he's strong, but that your people are too weak. Then you all don't need to participate anymore. Going is also courting death. You're talking nonsense. Man Ning had a furious look on his face. Elder, it's very clear that there's even a first-level Divine Lord in Man Ning's team. It can be seen how weak her team is. This way, it's very simple. Excluding her, our 2 teams can head to the Dragon Race's mother planet. Xing said. The reason why he targeted Man Ning was that the other team's strength was very shocking. He did not have confidence. Chapter 3562. The white-haired old man frowned. His thoughts were also biased toward Xing. There was even a first-level Divine Lord in Man Ning's team. It could be seen that his strength was really not much. Going to the Dragon Race's mother planet was also a waste of the quota. Strength is never based on words. At this moment, Lu Ming's indifferent voice sounded. Everyone's eyes gathered on Lu Ming. Kid, what do you mean by this? Xing's eyes narrowed as he stared at Lu Ming. Looks like your ability to understand is really not good. My words are already so clear, but I don't mind explaining it again. Strength can never be judged by words. Only by fighting can one judge strength. Lu Ming said indifferently. Lu Ming would not miss the opportunity to go to the Dragon Race's mother planet. If the other party wanted to exclude him, then he could only use his fists to fight his way in. You want to fight? Do you think you can compete with us with your first-level Divine Lord cultivation? Ha! Xing let out a disdainful sneer. He did not believe that a first-level Divine Lord could be that strong. Divine Lord realm was not God King or Celestial God realms. One could casually fight across realms. He was very clear about how difficult it was to fight across realms in the Divine Lord realm. Moreover, the people here were all considered geniuses. It was even more difficult to fight across realms. Elder, I think Lu Ming is right. Strength is not based on words, but through fighting. I request a battle to determine which team is the weakest. Man Ning cupped his fists toward the 3 elders. Alright, this elder also has the same intention. Then let's have a team battle. The 3 teams will fight each other and have a team battle. The weakest team won't have to go to the Dragon Race's mother planet. Also, remember not to kill. The old man instructed. As the old man spoke, he slammed his palm on the ground. Rumble. The ground rumbled, and a huge stone battle platform emerged from the ground. This battle platform is about 1,000 miles long and wide. You guys go up and fight. Those who fall off the battle platform lose. The old man said. Xing, let's fight. Man Ning looked at Xing with high fighting spirit. With a swoosh, Man Ning stepped onto the battle platform first. Then, Lu Ming and the others stepped onto the battle platform one after another. They were very confident because they knew Lu Ming's combat strength. They could not use an ordinary first-level Divine Lord to measure Lu Ming's combat strength. Xing and the rest dared to underestimate Lu Ming. They were destined to suffer a great loss. Just like Ku Dao. Xing shouted and rushed to the fighting ring. Xing said coldly. He was full of confidence. As soon as his words left his mouth, he dashed out and charged toward Lu Ming and the rest. Ziying, your opponent is me. Man Ning shouted coldly and also rushed out, charging toward Ziying. Two rays of saber light flashed and tore the void apart. They collided fiercely and the saber light swept out in all directions. Ziying and Man Ning's figures trembled as they retreated repeatedly. But in the next moment, they fought again. The sky was filled with saber light and the powerful aura formed a terrible pressure that spread in all directions. They are stronger, but their strength is still limited. Lu Ming observed for a while and had a rough idea of Ziying and Man Ning's strength. Although the two of them were stronger than the others, they were not much stronger. The Origin Divine Power Factor was still 4 times awakened and the Origin Secret Technique had not severed the shackles. It was not easy to sever the shackles of the Origin Secret Technique. The second prince of the Taishu dynasty had cultivated for 2 stellar years and reached the 9th level Divine Lord realm. But he had only severed 1 shackle. Back in the primordial Divine Spirit world, although they were all below the Divine Lord realm, those who entered the primordial Divine Spirit world were all geniuses of various races who cultivated the primordial Divine Body. Some of them were very talented, but only a few of them had severed the shackles of the Origin Secret Technique. Moreover, in the primordial Divine Spirit world, in those famous mountains, whether it was cultivating the Origin Divine Power Factor or the Origin Secret Technique, it was easier than outside. However, only a few people could do it. If Lu Ming had not had a series of fortuitous encounters, it would not have been so easy to sever the shackles of the Origin Secret Technique. Boom! Ziying and Man Ning were fighting, and Lu Ming and the others were also fighting. More than 20 people on both sides were fighting. Kid, a first-level Divine Lord trash, get down. A black-faced youth sneered and rushed toward Lu Ming, slashing his saber at Lu Ming. This youth had a 3rd-level Divine Lord cultivation and was very strong. However, in Lu Ming's eyes, it was not enough. Looks like I have to show some of my strength. Otherwise, if I keep being looked down upon, it won't be good for me when I go to the dragon race's mother planet. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. He realized that sometimes, it was not good to be too low-key. When it was time to be high-profile, it was time to be high-profile. In an instant, the battle character art was activated. 11 types of divine power erupted and the Tyrant God Spear appeared in his hand. The Tyrant God Spear vibrated. At this moment, Lu Ming directly activated the Tyrant God Spear's power after severing the shackles. A terrifying aura erupted from Lu Ming's body, causing heaven and earth to tremble. Then the spear swept out. Bang! Without any surprise, the black-faced youth's saber light shattered. The spear did not stop, sweeping toward the black-faced youth. Ah! Your Origin Secret Technique severed the shackles. The black-faced youth let out a horrified roar. He had almost been frightened to death. At the critical moment, he used his saber to block. His saber was a monarch-grade divine artifact. Moreover, his Origin Secret Technique was also a saber that was fused into the monarch-grade divine artifact. However, when the Tyrant God Spear struck the saber violently trembled and shattered. The black-faced youth's body flew out of the stage like a cannonball. He continued flying for over 10,000 miles before crashing into the ground. He vomited large mouthfuls of blood. He had been heavily injured. One move. In just one move, the black-faced youth had been instantly killed. Of course, the black-faced youth hadn't died because Lu Ming had shown mercy. There was a rule before that stated that he could not kill. What? Seeing this scene, the others were greatly shocked. It wasn't just Ziying's people. Man Ning's people, the other team, and the white-haired elders group all widened their eyes. He had severed the shackles. Lu Ming's Origin Secret Technique had actually severed the shackles and activated a terrifying power. Scram! Before anyone could react, Lu Ming had already charged over. He was invincible. No one could block one move from Lu Ming. The Tyrant God Spear swept out, and one figure after another was sent flying out of the stage. Chapter 3563. Almost in an instant, Lu Ming swept out 11 spears. Then, 11 figures flew out of the fighting ring. No one could block Lu Ming's move. 11 people flew out almost at the same time and smashed onto the ground. The 12 people brought by Ziying were sent flying just like that. Only Man Ning's people were left on the fighting ring. Ziying and Man Ning were fighting in the air. Seeing such a situation, Ziying's eyes almost popped out. He was dumbfounded and stunned. Thereafter, he was slashed by Man Ning's saber and was sent flying with severe injuries. He had yet to come back to his senses. His eyes were widened and he stared intently at Lu Ming. His eyes were filled with puzzlement, horror, and other emotions. Man Ning's heart also trembled violently a few times. She knew that she still underestimated Lu Ming. Lu Ming's strength was stronger than she imagined. Taking a few deep breaths, Man Ning calmed herself down. First-level Divine Lord, so what? Man Ning stood in the air and stared at Ziying. His disdainful voice came out. Ziying spat out a mouthful of blood, his face burning. Didn't he look down on first-level Divine Lords before? He thought that Man Ning's divine power was uneven. What was the result? It was a slap in the face. His people were all killed by Lu Ming in an instant. With such strength, he could easily crush him. He looked down on Lu Ming. Was he qualified? Amazing! The 3 elders of Sacred Fire Saber sect were also full of amazement. Lu Xian, it's our turn next. At this time, Man Ning looked at the leader of another team and issued a challenge. At this moment, Man Ning was in high spirits and full of confidence. With Lu Ming here, what was there to be afraid of? Directly crush. The leader of the other team was called Lu Xian. At this moment, his face was ugly. He forced a smile and said, "Junior Sister Man Ning, I didn't expect that there was such a genius in your team. I was wrong. I admit defeat in this battle." Lu Xian was straightforward and directly admitted defeat. What a joke, to go up and be defeated. He was not so stupid. In any case, 2 out of the 3 teams could go, as long as they defeated Ziying's team. Previously, Lu Xian's team had always been considered the strongest of the 3 teams. He still had some confidence in defeating Ziying. Alright, the first team to win is Manning's team. They have earned the right to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. The white-haired old man announced. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. It was finally settled. Now, Lu Xian and Ziying, it's your turn to compete. Whichever side loses will be eliminated. Ziying, for the sake of fairness, I'll give you time to heal your injuries. Hurry up and heal your injuries. The white-haired old man said. Ziying's expression was unsightly. The overall strength of Lu Xian's team was above his. This was also the reason why he provoked Man Ning in the beginning. As long as he defeated Man Ning, even if he couldn't defeat Lu Xian, he would still be able to obtain the opportunity to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. But now, he could only face Lu Xian. Focus on healing. Ziying shouted loudly. She took out a divine pill and swallowed it, focusing on healing her injuries. He was unwilling to give up just like that. He still wanted to give it a try. Ziying and his people focused on healing their injuries. Since there was still some time before they set off, everyone waited quietly. After a few days, Ziying and his people finally recovered from their injuries and returned to their peak condition. Of course, this was also the reason why Lu Ming didn't hit them too hard. Otherwise, they wouldn't have recovered in a few days. After their injuries were healed, the 2 sides stepped onto the battle platform and the battle broke out. Although Lu Xian's team was stronger overall, there was a limit to their strength. The battle between the 2 sides was very fierce. If it weren't for the rule that no killing was allowed, someone would have died. The 2 sides fought for more than half an hour before the outcome was decided. In the end, Lu Xian's team was slightly better and defeated Ziying's team. In the end, Man Ning and Lu Xian's teams obtained the opportunity to go to the wormhole. There was still more than a month left. They would stay nearby and wait for the time to come. After that, everything was calm. There were no accidents. More than a month passed quickly. Outside the wormhole, Lu Ming and the others gathered. Remember, when you enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, you must keep a low profile and be careful. This time, countless forces in the primitive universe will send people there. It is a great opportunity and also a great danger. You must grasp it well. The white-haired elder warned solemnly. Yes, elder. Everyone nodded. Go. The white-haired elder waved his hand. Lu Ming and the others set off and entered the wormhole. After entering the wormhole, they soon arrived in an unfamiliar starry sky. People of the Sacred Fire Saber sect, follow us. Lu Ming and the rest had yet to size up their surroundings when they heard a voice. They looked forward and saw a group of more than a dozen people. These people were all wearing wings. Their eyes were sharp and their auras were terrifying. They gave off an unfathomable feeling. Quasi-emperors. Are these people all quasi-emperors? Lu Ming was shocked. He understood that this should be the territory of the Sacred Sparrow tribe. However, he was still shocked to see more than a dozen quasi-emperors at a glance. Lu Ming, the Sacred Sparrow tribe is a large tribe on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. For such a force, quasi-emperors are nothing. Even divine emperors are nothing. Bone Demon's voice sounded in his sea of consciousness. Even divine emperors are nothing? Lu Ming's heart trembled violently. The only divine emperor he had seen so far was the immortal demon lord. Moreover, he was a severely injured divine emperor. In the Sacred Sparrow tribe, divine emperors were nothing. It was terrifying. But soon, Lu Ming felt relieved. After all, they were a powerful force on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. The primitive universe was vast and there were countless forces and races. Those that could be listed on the primitive 10,000 tribes list were the top races in the primitive universe. It was normal for them to be powerful. Seniors, we are from the Sacred Fire Saber sect. Man Ning and Lu Xian nodded hurriedly, trembling with fear. Although the Sacred Fire Saber sect was a powerful force, they were like ants in front of the Sacred Sparrow tribe. It was normal for Lu Xian and Man Ning to lose their composure in front of the elites of the Sacred Sparrow tribe. I know that you are from the Sacred Fire Saber sect. We are waiting for you here. Come with us. There are also some people from other forces. When everyone is here, we will set off for the dragon race's mother planet. A middle-aged man from the Sacred Sparrow tribe said calmly. However, Lu Ming saw disdain and arrogance in his eyes. The large tribes on the primitive 10,000 tribes list had the right to be arrogant in front of some small forces. They would only speak with the same attitude when facing other tribes that were also on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. Lu Xian, Man Ning, and the others trembled with fear. Lu Ming did not mind. The group followed the Sacred Sparrow tribe and arrived at a small wormhole. The Sacred Sparrow tribe was a huge force and occupied a huge territory. Even if they used teleportation to travel, it would take a long time. Therefore, the Sacred Sparrow tribe basically used wormholes to travel. Chapter 3564. For a major force like the Sacred Sparrow tribe, they would even pay a huge price to invite the space-time spirit rats to open a wormhole for them. The almighty among the space-time spirit mice had the ability to revert to their ancestors and could open fixed wormholes. In the regions of these great forces and races, the wormholes were like intersecting networks that connected the various regions. Otherwise, just traveling alone would take an unknown amount of time. With the wormhole, transportation was much more convenient. Through the wormhole, they soon arrived at a bustling planet. They settled down on the planet and waited. Without a doubt, the planet of the Sacred Sparrow tribe was even more bustling with true experts. There were all kinds of treasures that Lu Ming had never seen before. Lu Ming was extremely envious. Lu Ming went out for a stroll and bought some things. Brother Lu. When Lu Ming returned to his residence after buying some things, he bumped into Man Ning. Man Ning seemed to be looking for him. Miss Man Ning, why are you looking for me? Lu Ming smiled. Brother Lu, do you know about the dreamy sacred jade? Man Ning asked with a smile. Dreamy sacred jade? What's that? Lu Ming asked curiously. It was his first time hearing about the dreamy sacred jade. This is it, Man Ning said. The next moment, her glabella lit up. A translucent, palm-sized jade token flew out from her glabella. This is the dreamy sacred jade. What's so special about it? Lu Ming asked. He could feel that the dreamy sacred jade was special, but he couldn't tell what it was. The dreamy sacred jade is refined by the dreamy heavenly palace. Man Ning explained with a smile. Dreamy heavenly palace. Lu Ming was shocked. The current primitive universe was in the era of the Heavenly Palace. The Heavenly Palace ruled the primitive universe and all races submitted to it. Legend had it that there wasn't only one Heavenly Palace, but many different Heavenly Palaces. Obviously, the illusory Heavenly Palace was one of the Heavenly Palaces. The treasures refined by the dreamy Heavenly Palace were definitely extraordinary. As expected, Man Ning continued to explain, as long as it is bound to the Dream Jade token, anyone who has the Dream Jade token, no matter where in the universe, will be able to exchange information. What? Lu Ming couldn't help but widen his eyes. No matter which corner of the universe they were in, they could exchange information. This function was too heaven-defying. Compared to the voice transmission Jade token, it was many times stronger. In fact, the desolate universe was too big. No matter what grade the voice transmission Jade talisman was, it was useless. The distance was too far, and it was impossible to send a message directly. However, this dreamy heavenly Jade was actually able to directly communicate with one another. It was truly heaven-defying. In the Taishu dynasty, he had never heard of such a thing. The Taishu dynasty was still too backward. Brother Lu, this is only one of the basic functions of the dreamy heavenly Jade. The dreamy heavenly Jade has many other functions. For example, there is a public area on the dreamy heavenly Jade. If you send a message there, other people who have the dreamy heavenly Jade will be able to see it. For example, there are various secret techniques, divine skills, and cultivation experience on the dreamy heavenly Jade. Man Ning explained. Lu Ming's eyes became brighter and brighter. This kind of treasure was really mysterious. He couldn't wait to have one. Miss Man Ning, where can I buy this dreamy heavenly Jade? Lu Ming asked. The dreamy heavenly Jade is very rare even in the sacred fire saber sect. It is a precious treasure and not many people have it. However, you can still buy it in the sacred sparrow tribe. However, I happen to have one left. Why don't I give it to Brother Lu? After saying that, Man Ning's hand shone and another Jade token appeared. It was indeed the dreamy heavenly Jade. It was emitting a dreamy light. Give it to me? Lu Ming was surprised. A treasure like the dreamy heavenly Jade was rare even in a big force like the sacred fire saber sect. However, no one had heard of it in the Taishu dynasty. One could imagine that it was very valuable. Man Ning actually gave him a piece directly? Brother Lu is very talented and powerful. When we enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, I am afraid we will need Brother Lu's help. Man Ning smiled and said directly. She was very direct and spoke her mind. Obviously, she wanted to befriend Lu Ming. After all, Lu Ming's strength was unfathomable. Alright, when we enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, if there is a need, Lu Ming will definitely not sit back and do nothing. Of course, if it is too dangerous, please forgive Lu Ming for not being able to help. Lu Ming said. He was also very direct. If he had the ability, he would help. If he didn't, there was nothing he could do. Of course. Man Ning smiled and handed the dreamy heavenly Jade to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took it without hesitation. To be honest, such a treasure was really tempting. How do I use it? Lu Ming asked. Just drip a drop of blood on it and it will be bound. In this way, no one else can use it except you. Man Ning said. Lu Ming nodded and squeezed a drop of blood from his finger. He dripped it on the dreamy heavenly Jade. Immediately, the dreamy heavenly Jade absorbed the blood completely. At this time, Lu Ming and the dreamy heavenly Jade had a strange connection. With a thought, the dreamy heavenly Jade flew into his glabella and floated in his sea of consciousness. Then, Lu Ming's mind moved again, and an invisible picture appeared in Lu Ming's mind. Please name it. 3 big words appeared on the picture. Name it? Lu Ming was surprised. Brother Lu, the dreamy heavenly Jade will form a dreamy space. The public area on it can be seen by everyone, so basically no one will use their real name. They will use a fake name to avoid their information being exposed. As if she knew what Lu Ming saw, Man Ning explained. I see. Lu Ming nodded. Then what name should he give it? Along the way, I have an affinity with dragons. Let's call it Dragon Emperor. But now that the Divine Dragon Clan has been exterminated, The name Dragon Emperor is too arrogant. It will probably be targeted. Forget it, let's change it. Let's call it Bamboo Moo. Several thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. The name Bamboo Moo was purely a flash of inspiration. There was no other reason. Then, Lu Ming used his spiritual sense to write the two words Bamboo Moo on the picture. Name successful. The scene immediately changed, and different diagrams appeared one after another. These were different areas, such as the public area, the secret technique area, the divine pill area, the secret area, and so on. Let's look at the secret technique area. Lu Ming's mind moved, and then the small picture in the secret technique area rapidly enlarged and turned into another picture. Secret technique, meteor flying moon. The arrow is like a meteor, piercing through the starry sky. Secret technique, phoenix burning heaven. The fire attribute secret technique can burn the starry sky. All kinds of secret techniques appeared in front of Lu Ming's eyes. However, each secret technique had a price behind it. If you wanted to see it, you had to buy it. And the price was shockingly high, and it was measured in monarch pills. Lu Ming looked at it briefly and was not interested. Now that he had mastered 11 kinds of secret techniques, he had no interest in cultivating other ordinary secret techniques. Chapter 3565. Miss Manning, these secret techniques need to be purchased. How do I buy them? How do I pay for them with divine crystals or monarch pills? Lu Ming asked curiously. The dreamy heavenly palace has branches in many places. You can go to those branches to pay for some divine crystals or monarch pills, then you can spend them in the dreamy space of the dreamy divine jade. Manning said. Lu Ming suddenly realized that this was a bit like the contribution points of the sections. Many sects' identity tokens had contribution points in them, and they could be used to pay for them directly. Then, Lu Ming activated his spiritual sense and entered the public area. Suddenly, messages appeared one after another. We have arrived at the Dragon Clan's mother planet, but the seal is strong. We still have 5 years before we can enter. Analysis of the weakness of the seal on the Dragon Clan's mother planet. A series of messages appeared. This is amazing, really amazing. With this dreamy divine jade, won't I be able to know the big news and events in every corner of the primitive universe in an instant? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. This was definitely a supreme treasure. The Heavenly Palace's methods were really shocking. The primitive universe is vast and endless, and there are countless races. It is said that some races have developed a method called technology, which is quite mysterious. I heard that the refinement of the dreamy divine jade was inspired by technology. Manjin explained with a smile. Thank you, Miss Manning. Lu Ming cupped his fists, expressing his sincere gratitude. With the dreamy divine jade, he would soon be able to integrate into the vast universe. He would no longer be clueless and ignorant. He wanted to go back to his room immediately and study it carefully. Brother Lu, you can study it first. If you don't understand anything, ask me. By the way, let's add each other's information. This way, we can communicate with each other. Manning said. Lu Ming nodded. Lu Ming understood this point. For example, the communication jade talisman had to leave messages with each other before they could communicate. The two of them added each other's information, and then Manning left. Lu Ming couldn't wait to go back to his room and began to study the dreamy divine jade. In this way, they waited for a few months, and Lu Ming finally understood the usage of the dreamy divine jade. It was time to set off. A sacred sparrow race expert led them to a huge wormhole. This wormhole was the wormhole to the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Lu Ming saw a large number of young experts. There were at least 10,000 people. These youths had cultivation levels at or below the 3rd level of the Divine Lord realm. They were all universe-level factions like the Sacred Fire Saber sect that needed to borrow the wormhole of the Sacred Sparrow race. Swoosh swoosh. Swoosh. Swoosh swoosh. This group of young people was wearing feather clothes of various colors. There were both men and women. Some of them looked cold and arrogant, while others looked calm. However, all of them had powerful auras. There were several hundred of them. Swoosh divine swoosh swoosh. Swoosh swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. These youths were all elites of the sacred sparrow race. There were actually several hundred third-level divine lords. One had to know, back then in the Taishu dynasty, there were only 2 people who reached level 1 divine lord. As for the sacred sparrow race, there were hundreds of third-level divine lords. How many first-level and second-level divine lords were there? And how many were third-level divine lords and above? There was no comparison at all. Any prodigy from the sacred sparrow race would be a top prodigy in the Taishu dynasty. It's said that some powerful races have the blood of primitive gods flowing in their veins. They have powerful talents and rich resources. With the accumulation of resources, their cultivation is naturally stronger. Thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. The geniuses of the sacred sparrow tribe were certainly talented, but their resources were also astonishing. They were not something that the Taishu dynasty could compare with. It was also reasonable for them to be powerful. I heard that the sacred sparrow race is only ranked around 9,000 on the prehistoric 10,000 races list. Yet they are already so powerful. I wonder how many geniuses there are in the prehistoric universe. Thinking of this, Lu Ming was not discouraged. Instead, he became excited. The more prodigies there were, the better. Only then would it be exciting and motivating for him to constantly improve. Back then, in the primitive divine spirit world, there were many prodigies from various races in the prehistoric universe. However, there were many limitations. Only divine kings could enter. Once they broke through to the divine lord realm, they would be sent away. Moreover, only prodigies who cultivated the primitive divine body could enter. Therefore, the number of prodigies one could meet was very limited. In the vast prehistoric universe, there were countless races and forces. Thus, there were many prodigies. That was what was truly exciting. Now, follow us to the dragon race's mother planet through this wormhole. A sacred sparrow race prodigy said. Then, the sacred sparrow race took the lead and flew into the wormhole, disappearing into it. Then, Lu Ming and the others followed and disappeared into the wormhole. Not long after, they appeared in an unfamiliar galaxy. At this point, Lu Ming's blood suddenly flowed at a faster speed. This place gives me a very strange feeling. It's very comfortable. It seems that we are not far from the dragon race's mother planet. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Now that he had a drop of primitive divine blood in his body, it was the primitive divine blood of the primitive divine dragon. It was normal for him to feel close to everything about the dragon race. This is the star sector where the dragon race's mother planet is located. The dragon race's mother planet is in the center of this star sector. Follow us, but we are only responsible for bringing you to the dragon race's mother planet. After that, you can do whatever you want. It has nothing to do with the sacred sparrow race. A sacred sparrow race prodigy said. Everyone nodded. They naturally understood. Forces like the Sacred Fire Saber sect had bribed the Sacred Sparrow race. Therefore, the Sacred Sparrow race would bring them to the dragon race's mother planet. Of course, they would not care about what happened after that. The Sacred Sparrow race prodigy led the way and flew forward. After a few days, a huge planet appeared in front of Lu Ming and the others. Dong dong dong. At that moment, Lu Ming felt his heartbeat quicken. He knew that this was the dragon race's mother planet. It was huge, too huge. The dragon race's mother planet was the largest planet that Lu Ming had ever seen. It was at least 10,000 times larger than an ordinary planet with life. The huge planet floated in the distant starry sky, exuding an ancient aura. It was as if there were many primitive divine spirits sitting there. Even though it was far away, Lin Fan could feel a strong pressure. Moreover, there was only a sun around the dragon race's mother planet. There were no other planets. Along the way, Lu Ming heard about it from others. The war that killed the dragon race had been very tragic. Other than the dragon race's mother planet and a huge star beside it, all the other planets around it had been destroyed. The surroundings of the dragon race's mother planet were empty. There were no other planets, not even a single planet. There were only a lot of meteorites floating in the distance. Chapter 3566. These little birds are here too. Hee hee, great. Shall we catch a few to try? At that moment, a few snickers came from another direction. Then, several figures flew over. They were also young men, and there were several hundred of them. They were all dressed in black robes, and their eyes were cold, like venomous snakes. Glacier Python Tribe. Many of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe's sky prides had cold looks in their eyes. So it's the Glacier Python Tribe on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. There was a section in the illusory sacred jade that recorded all kinds of information. For example, information on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board, various perilous and secret grounds, etc. This information did not require divine gems or monarch elixirs to purchase. Lu Ming had browsed through a lot during this period of time and had a good understanding of the powerful tribes on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board. The Glacier Python Tribe was ranked in the 9,000th place on the primitive 10,000 Tribes board, which was similar to the Sacred Sparrow Tribe. However, the Glacier Python Tribe and the Sacred Sparrow Tribe were sworn enemies. That was because the Glacier Python Tribe loved to devour the sacred sparrows. Throughout history, many members of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe had been devoured by the Glacier Python Tribe. At that moment, the young men from the Glacier Python Tribe were looking at the young men from the Sacred Sparrow Tribe with glowing eyes. It was as though they had seen delicious food. You little birds are here too. Very good. Become our delicacies. A young man from the Glacier Python Tribe sneered. His eyes were burning with passion. You are the ones who will die. A sky pride from the Sacred Sparrow Tribe shouted. His killing intent was cold as he stepped out and was about to attack. That was because he had a relative who had been devoured by the Glacier Python Tribe. When he saw the Glacier Python Tribe, he wanted to kill it. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. A young man from the Glacier Python Tribe stepped out and charged at the sky pride from the Sacred Sparrow Tribe. When the two of them collided in the void, there was a loud explosion. Boom! The starry sky shook and the two of them retreated. There was no doubt that both of them were third-level divine lords. Little bird, I'm going to devour you. The young man of the Glacier Python clan revealed a ruthless look on his face. He let out a furious roar, and his body started to transform into a gigantic python. This giant python was at least tens of thousands of meters long. It opened its mouth and tried to swallow the youth of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe. The python's mouth was like a black hole, emitting a terrifying suction force. The young man of the Sacred Sparrow Tribe let out a long cry. His body also transformed into a huge sacred sparrow. He flapped his wings and slashed towards the giant glacier python like a heavenly blade. The two of them fought fiercely, and energy overflowed everywhere. The other members of the Holy Sparrow Tribe and the Glacier Python Tribe did not attack. They were already close to the territory of the Dragon Clan's mother planet. There were probably many geniuses from large factions in the vicinity of this starry sky. If they were to start a war now, both sides would suffer great losses and they would probably be annihilated by the other races. Very strong. Lu Ming observed carefully. The Holy Sparrow Tribe and the Glacier Python Tribe lived up to their names on the primitive 10,000 tribes list. In a battle of the same level, perhaps no one in the Sacred Fire Saber sect could match him. Even the strongest Man Ning and Lu Xian could not. This was an innate talent. These races had powerful bloodlines that ordinary races could not compare to. The two sides exchanged a few hundred blows. In the end, they coughed up blood and retreated. There was no clear winner. You little birds. When we enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet, we'll annihilate all of you. The young man of the Glacier Python Tribe said coldly. We don't know who will be annihilated by then. The young man of the Holy Sparrow Tribe replied forcefully. The two sides did not continue to fight. After a short standoff, the Glacier Python Tribe flew in another direction. Although the Dragon Clan's mother planet has been revived, the seal of the 10,000 dragon seals is still extremely strong. Only a few weak spots can be penetrated. Moreover, it requires a fixed period of time. We can only enter when the seal is at its weakest. Now is not the time. We still need another 5 years. Now that we have brought you to the Dragon Clan's mother planet, you can move about on your own. Don't follow us. A young man of the Holy Sparrow tribe said to Lu Ming and the rest. After arriving at the Dragon Clan's mother planet, the Holy Sparrow tribe naturally did not want to bring Lu Ming and the rest along. In their opinion, Lu Ming and the rest were just burdens. Having said that, the people of the Holy Sparrow tribe flew ahead. Let's go! Let's go! The sky prides of forces like the Sacred Fire Saber sect also left. Some of them flew in the direction of the Dragon Clan's mother planet to check out the situation. Some of them flew in other directions and found a meteorite to settle down near the Dragon Clan's mother planet. They would wait for 5 years to enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Lu Ming had learned a lot about the situation of the Dragon Clan's mother planet from the illusory Sacred Jade. Back then, the Dragon Clan's mother planet had been sealed with the 10,000 dragon seals by the last batch of elites of the Divine Dragon Clan. This seal was extremely strong. Even the top elites on the primitive 10,000 tribe board would find it difficult to enter. Now that the Dragon Clan's mother planet had been revived, the 10,000 dragon seals had begun to weaken. However, even if they had weakened, it was not that easy to enter. Now, some powerful forces had only found 18 weak spots. They were scattered in different parts of the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Furthermore, these 18 weak points weren't weak all the time. After some experts had experimented with them, they had concluded that every 33 years, the seals of the weak points would be at their weakest. Only then would they be able to enter. Moreover, the strongest seal would only allow third-level divine lords to enter. If an even stronger expert tried to barge in, they would be turned into ashes in an instant. Now, the 18 weak spots were in the hands of 18 powerful races. Moreover, there was another interesting point. Perhaps it was because the Divine Dragon Clan had been annihilated. Therefore, the Dragon Clan that had sealed the 10,000 dragon seals were filled with resentment. They were extremely repulsed by the powerful races on the Myriad tribe board. The stronger the race, the greater the repulsion. Now, the top 100 races on the primitive 10,000 tribe board could not enter at all. Even those below third-level divine lords could not enter. They could only enter when the seals were even weaker. Therefore, the top 100 races on the primitive 10,000 tribe board had already given up after a few attempts. The elites and sky prides of these races had already left. In other words, the races that appeared in this starry sky were all races ranked below the top 100 on the primitive 10,000 tribe board. This information was obtained by Lu Ming from the illusory Sacred Jade. With the illusory Sacred Jade, many things were really a lot more convenient. Soon, only the 26 people from the Sacred Fire Saber sect were left in this area. Should we go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet to investigate first or find a place to stay? Someone asked. It's not time yet. We can't enter the Dragon Clan's mother planet at all. It's useless to investigate. Let's find a place to stay first. Manning said. Everyone nodded and then flew in a direction. They found a huge meteorite nearby and landed on it. Chapter 3567. Lu Xian's team also followed Lu Ming's team and landed on the meteorite. However, they did not follow them but landed on the other side of the meteorite, separated by a long distance. Although they came from Sacred Fire Saber sect, they were competitors. After landing on the meteorite, Lu Ming sat cross-legged and began to look at the illusory heavenly jade in his sea of consciousness. There was a lot of useful information in the public area of the illusory heavenly jade. During this period of time, the attention of the major races in the primitive universe was focused on the divine dragon race's mother planet. Therefore, most of the topics revolved around the divine dragon race's mother planet. After browsing for a while, Lu Ming learned some useful information. Those 18 weak points were now in the hands of 18 powerful races. They were strictly controlled. If one wanted to pass through the 18 weak points, one would have to pay a large amount of divine crystals or monarch pills to those races. Lu Ming couldn't help but sigh. In this world, strength was the absolute truth. It was the same everywhere. The dragon race's mother planet belonged to the dragon race and not other races. However, those 18 races occupied the 18 weak points. If others wanted to pass through, they would have to pay a fee. It was because they were strong. If they were weak, they would have been destroyed long ago. If they were strong, others could only listen obediently. At the same time, Lu Ming learned that these weak points only appeared once every 33 years. Last time, the major races had already sent people in, but it seemed that they suffered heavy losses. Most of them did not pass and died. Even at the weakest time, it was not easy to pass through. It was very dangerous. However, after another 33 years, some experts speculated that this time, it should be better. It was not as dangerous as the last time. It should be easier to pass through. The dragon race's mother planet actually appeared at the beginning of the world and gave birth to 49 primordial divine dragons. It's really unimaginable. Lu Ming sighed. In the public area, someone spread the origin of the dragon race's mother planet. Lu Ming was shocked. Some powerful races had mother planets that were born at the beginning of the world and had given birth to primordial divine spirits. It was incomparably mysterious. The divine dragon race was extremely powerful. At their peak, they could be ranked in the top 5 of the universe. The dragon race's mother planet had given birth to 49 primordial divine dragons. It was extremely terrifying. No wonder so many people wanted to come to the Dragon Clan's mother planet to look for opportunities. How many opportunities could there be in a Dragon Clan's mother planet that had nurtured over 49 primeval divine dragons and developed for countless years? More importantly, it had been sealed for dozens of stellar years. How many treasures would there be? Lu Ming's heart was also burning with passion. The primordial divine body that he cultivated was the primordial divine dragon body, which required him to continuously condense primordial divine blood. If he could obtain treasures related to the primordial divine dragon from the Dragon Clan's mother planet, it would be of great help to him. Moreover, Mid-Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing might be on the Dragon Clan's home planet. He had to go there. Wait, the Dragon Clan's mother planet has such a strong seal. If Shao Qing is in the Dragon Clan's mother planet, how did she get in? Lu Ming frowned as he thought of this possibility. Even the top experts of the Great Desolate 10,000 Races ranking could not enter, but Xian Yanqing could? Mid-Autumn Moon had entered through the teleportation platform of a secret base of the Dragon Clan. That could be explained. But what about Xian Yanqing? However, if Xian Yanqing was not on the Dragon Clan's mother planet, why did the map in the Jade token that he had left him point to this place? Moreover, it was left behind thousands of years ago. What was the secret behind this? Lu Ming could not figure it out. He could only wait until he entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet and slowly investigate. Boom! At this moment, a meteorite in the distance exploded. Then, divine light shone and illuminated the starry sky. Someone was fighting. Lu Ming, Man Ning, and the rest were alarmed. They looked in that direction. They were far away, but the starry sky was vast and unobstructed. With Lu Ming and the others' eyesight, they could still see some of it. Many figures were fighting and killing each other. It was very tragic and people were dying constantly. In the primitive universe, there are some races and forces that are mortal enemies. Once you encounter them, a war will break out easily. For example, the Sacred Sparrow tribe and the Glacier Python tribe. Man Ning explained with a solemn expression. The others were the same. Now, in the galaxy around the Dragon Clan's mother planet, countless geniuses had gathered. If they were not careful, a war would break out. They had to be careful. Otherwise, they would be killed before they even entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet. That would be a waste. After fighting for a while, both sides suffered heavy losses. As if they were afraid, the war finally ended and they retreated. However, such a war was unavoidable. Not long after, a war broke out in another part of the starry sky. It was a tragic battle. Just like that, from time to time, a great war would break out in the starry sky. In less than half a year, Lu Ming and the others had stayed and watched dozens of great battles. But on this day, a scream suddenly came from the meteorite where Lu Ming and the others were. This made Man Ning and the others' hair stand on end. They all stood up and formed a circle. They circulated their divine power and cautiously stared in the direction of the sound. At this moment, a few more screams were heard. They were incomparably mournful. It's from Lu Xian and the others. A young man spoke. His face was pale and cold sweat was flowing down. That direction was where Lu Xian and the others were staying. Let's go. We're leaving this meteorite. Man Ning made a prompt decision and was about to lead the others away. However, at this moment, a stream of light flew towards them rapidly. It was Lu Xian. They immediately saw that the stream of light was wrapped around Lu Xian. At this moment, Lu Xian's face was filled with fear. He rushed towards Lu Ming and the others frantically and roared, "Man Ning, save me, quickly save me. Damn it, this guy wants to drag us in." Man Ning roared. Lu Xian flew towards them and roared, trying to divert the trouble. However, at this moment, an even more shocking scene appeared. Lu Xian's body suddenly emitted a dense black light. Then, his body stiffened, and rays of black light rushed out from his body. Lu Xian screamed miserably. His glabella shone, and his soul rushed out along with the black light. Lu Ming and the others were shocked. Lu Xian's soul was about to be extracted. This was too strange. "Save me, Man Ning, Lu Ming, save me." Lu Xian screamed crazily. His soul struggled violently, but it was useless. The next moment, his soul completely flew out and was caught by a skinny young man in a black robe. Lu Xian's soul was extracted, and his body fell to the ground like a pile of mud. "Another good soul. Hee, not bad, not bad." The skinny man sneered. He took out a wooden jar and put Lu Xian's soul inside. "You're from the Wu people?" Man Ning asked with a pale face. "You have good taste." "We're from the Wu people." A cold voice sounded. It was not the skinny young man from before. It came from another direction. Chapter 3568. A few more black-robed young men appeared in another direction. There were 4 of them in total. Together with the previous one, there were 5 of them. Their attire was very similar. They were all wearing black robes with strange patterns embroidered on them. They were all skinny as if they were just skin and bones. Black light constantly emanated from their bodies, making them look very evil. Wu people. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. This was the second time he had seen the Wu people. Back in the Taishu dynasty, a quasi-emperor of the Wu people helped the barbarians to fight against the Taishu dynasty, but he was stopped by Blue Merchant with his soul power. Later on, the barbarian emperor offended the Wu people and was killed by the Wu people. The faces of Man Ning and the others were extremely ugly, and they were also extremely terrified. The sorcerer tribe was a very famous tribe in the untainted universe. It was not only because the sorcerer tribe was extremely powerful and ranked high on the list of 10,000 tribes in the untainted universe, but also because the sorcerer tribe's means were extremely strange and terrifying. The Wu people often extracted the souls of other creatures to cultivate. They were notorious for that. Of course, the people of the sorcerer tribe knew their limits. They would not offend those tribes that were stronger than them. They would only offend those tribes that were weaker than them. Therefore, for countless years, not only did the sorcerer tribe live well, they also became stronger and stronger. Obviously, Lu Xian and the others had already had their souls extracted by the Wu people. It was their turn now. Man Ning and the others felt their hearts sink. What should we do? What should we do? Someone's voice was trembling. His body was trembling nonstop, and his face was deathly pale. Let's go. A young man couldn't stand it anymore. He rushed up and tried to escape. You want to escape? How naive. One of the Wu people took out a small drum and hit it lightly. Then, the young man who was trying to escape trembled and almost fell from the sky. Then, the Wu people young man waved his hand and 3 puppets flew out at an astonishing speed toward the young man. I'll kill you. The young man from the Sacred Fire Saber sect roared. His saber light soared and pierced through the starry sky. The saber light split into 3 and slashed at the 3 wooden puppets. However, when the young man from the Sacred Fire Saber sect released his saber light, the young man from the Wu people hit the drum several times. The young man from the Sacred Fire Saber sect shook violently. His glabella glowed, and even the saber light dimmed. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. Obviously, this was a soul attack that could affect the soul, just like the Wu person who had appeared in the Taishu dynasty. This kind of method was somewhat similar to the people of the Jiuyou heavenly residents of the Taishu dynasty, but the degree of exquisiteness was far beyond that of the people of the Jiuyou heavenly residents. At this moment, the saber light dimmed. The three puppets rushed over and entered the body of the young man from the Holy Fire Saber sect. The young man screamed in agony. His body emitted a dense black light. Then his soul was pulled out, just like Lu Xian's soul. With his soul taken out, the young man from the Holy Fire Saber sect was left with only his physical body. He was dead. Man Ning and the others were even paler. The Wu people's methods were too strange. They specialized in dealing with souls. Only soul protection treasures could resist them. However, the barbarians' methods weren't limited to that. Even soul protection treasures couldn't resist the Wu people's attacks. Many people who were stronger than the Wu people were often defeated by the Wu people because their methods were impossible to defend against. "Huh, you want to run away from us? How naive." The young man from the Wu people sneered. He grabbed the soul of the young man from the Holy Fire Saber sect and stuffed it into a bottle. They could use these souls to make all kinds of puppets and even higher-level substitute puppets. Therefore, souls were treasures in their eyes, especially the souls of young prodigies. This gathering of prodigies was a great opportunity for them. It was even more attractive than the dragon race's home planet. Just accept your death and you won't have to suffer. Another young prodigy from the Wu people sneered. "Everyone, gather together and attack together. Let's get out of here," Man Ning said. They had no choice but to give it their all. Although she knew that even if she gave it her all, it might not work. She could tell from the fate of Lu Xian and the others. However, they couldn't just give up. "It seems that you're still unwilling to give up. You're courting death." A young man from the Wu people sneered. They could tell that Man Ning and the others wouldn't give up. 5 young men from the Wu people waved their hands. A large number of puppets appeared in the air and surrounded Lu Ming and the others. "Let's go!" Man Ning shouted and was about to attack. However, at this moment, a calm voice sounded, "Why rush? Just kill them." It was Lu Ming who spoke. Man Ning, who was about to dash out, paused. He looked at Lu Ming in shock. "Kill them?" She had to admit that Lu Ming was very powerful and had already broken one of the shackles of the origin source secret technique. However, the Wu people's methods were too strange. They could often defeat the stronger ones. Facing 5 young prodigies from the Wu people, she didn't think that Lu Ming could win. However, when she saw Lu Ming's confident smile, her heart could not help but calm down. Lu Ming was also unfathomable in her eyes. Hearing Lu Ming's words, the 5 young prodigies from the Wu people were stunned. Then they burst into laughter. "Haha, did you hear that? This kid said he would kill us. He's just a first-level divine lord trash. This is the funniest joke I've heard in so many years. I've decided to take this kid's soul. I'd like to see what gave him such confidence." A young prodigy from the Wu people laughed so hard that tears almost came out of his eyes. In the primitive universe, other than the top 100 races, there were also some special races. The Wu people were not afraid of anyone. At the same level, the Wu people had an absolute advantage. Dong dong dong. At that moment, the young prodigy from the Wu people made his move. He hit the small drum in his hand and invisible sound waves rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. Man Ning and the others shuddered. Lu Ming was the same. His body trembled slightly and his glabella glowed. He felt that his soul was being attacked by a powerful force. Even the frightening feather painting found it difficult to resist. The frightening feather painting had been refined by Jingyu himself. It could withstand soul attacks. However, the soul attacks of the Wu people were too strange. They were many times more mysterious than the 9 Serenities' heavenly kings. The frightening feather painting could withstand the soul attacks of the 9 Serenities' heavenly kings people, but it couldn't withstand the soul attacks of the Wu people. The soul attacks of the Wu people were like drills that kept spinning. They drilled through the frightening feather painting's defense and attacked Lu Ming's soul. In fact, although soul defense treasures were rare and precious, even a powerful faction like the Sacred Fire Saber sect had some. For example, Man Ning and the others also had soul defense treasures. However, They couldn't withstand the soul attacks of the Wu people either. Chapter 3569. Ah, that's all you've got? The Wu people laughed, and at least 10 puppets rushed towards Lu Ming's group. It's over. At this moment, Man Ning and the others had the same thought. They didn't expect to die at the hands of the Wu people before they could even enter the dragon race's home planet. Soul attack? You think you're the only one with it? At this moment, Lu Ming said lightly, and then a small bell appeared above his head. Original secret technique, Bell of Evil. As soon as the Bell of Evil appeared, Lu Ming activated the power to sever the shackles. Ding-ling-ling. The Bell of Evil rang with a clear sound, but it was full of evil power. The key was that the young Wu people's soul attack was directly defeated by the Bell of Evil. Not only that, the Bell of Evil counterattacked, and the soul attack swept towards the young Wu people like a tide. The young Wu people's body shook violently, and he couldn't help but step back and spit out a mouthful of blood. His attack was defeated by Lu Ming and he suffered a backlash. His soul was injured. Man Ning and the others felt their souls lighten, and they were no longer attacked. You also have a soul attack? It's an original secret technique. Damn, it severed the shackles. A few young men from the sorcerer tribe cried out in shock. Let's kill him together. The sorcerer tribe elites took out all kinds of weapons to attack the soul. There were bells, flutes, gyukins, etc. Clang. Ooh. All kinds of sounds rang out, and the soul attack rushed towards Lu Ming like a storm. Ding-ling-ling. Lu Ming kept activating the Bell of Evil. The power of a shackle severed was amazing, and it directly defeated the soul attack of the 5 young Wu people. Kill. Lu Ming shouted coldly, and the Wind Destroyer boots, the Voidbreaker sword, and the Overlord spear appeared one after another. The Voidbreaker sword was the fastest, and it directly broke through the void and attacked a young Wu people. The Wu people youth didn't even have time to resist before his head was cut off. But in the next moment, the body of the Wu people youth exploded and turned into a scarecrow. His body appeared in another direction, his face deathly pale. Scarecrow substitutes. The Wu people are indeed amazing. Lu Ming frowned. At the same time, he charged toward the Wu people youth with the Tyrant God spear in his hand. Let's attack together. At this moment, Man Ning finally reacted to the situation. She shouted and her blade flashed. She charged towards the sorcerer tribe youth and slashed a puppet in half. At the same time, the other 10 youths also attacked. The sky was filled with saber lights. Lu Ming used the Wicked Bell to block the soul attack of the Wu people youth. Without the soul attack, Man Ning and the others could finally use their full strength. More than a dozen puppets were blocked by Man Ning and the others. Lu Ming dashed past them. The overbearing deity spear was small and he defeated 3 puppets consecutively. The overbearing deity spear vibrated and 5 beams of spear gleams burst forth, shrouding the 5 youths from the wizard tribe. Damn it! Kill him! The 5 young men from the sorcerer tribe shouted and waved their hands continuously. More wooden puppets flew out. Ding! 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 The wicked bell kept ringing. The puppets shook violently, and wisps of black mist came out of their bodies. They even let out shrill screams. These puppets were made with souls. Now that they were attacked by the wicked bell, they were about to collapse. Lu Ming rushed over and destroyed more than a dozen puppets in an instant. Wizard God descends. The 5 Wu people youth shouted at the same time. Their skinny bodies swelled up and turned into monsters dozens of meters tall. The monsters wore bronze armor and held bronze swords. This was their Origin's secret art. The 5 of them had the same Origin's secret art. The 5 of them used their Origin's secret arts and attacked Lu Ming together. Gate of Domination. Lu Ming waved his hands and the Gate of Domination appeared. It expanded to 10,000 feet in size. There was a pitch-black vortex on it that kept spinning. A terrifying suction force erupted and locked the 5 members of the sorcerer tribe in place. Kill. Lu Ming shouted and waved the Tyrant God spear, cutting off a shackle. Boom! Boom! Even if the 5 Wu people youth worked together, they couldn't withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. Two of the Wu people youth were forced to retreat, while the other three suffered the brunt of the attack and their bodies exploded. During the process of the explosion, the area constantly distorted, and traces of the scarecrow appeared. They wanted to use scarecrows to escape, but this time, the area was suppressed by the gate of domination. The terrifying suction force had completely locked down the area. Wisps of black light appeared and let out terrified screams. "Oh no! Damn it, impossible!" After several terrified screams, the three Wu people youth were completely annihilated and died on the spot. The scarecrows also have their limits. As long as this area is sealed, you won't be able to replace them. Lu Ming laughed inwardly. This made sense. Otherwise, no matter how he killed them, the Wu people could use scarecrows to replace them. That would be too heaven-defying. Wouldn't it be impossible to kill them? You dare to kill our Wu people? You're courting death. Run! The remaining two young sorcerer tribesmen screamed in fear and tried to escape. But how could their speed compare to Lu Ming's? With the wind-extinguishing boots, he caught up to the two Wu people youth in a flash. "Spare us!" The two Wu people youth screamed miserably and begged Lu Ming for mercy. When they killed others and extracted their souls, they only felt exhilarated, incomparably exhilarated. They had never thought about how they would feel when they were killed. Now that they finally encountered it, they only felt fear. They were so scared that their bodies trembled. They even wanted to kneel down and beg for mercy. However, it was obvious that Lu Ming would not leave them behind. The gate of domination suppressed them and the Overlord Divine's spears swept across. The remaining two youths from the sorcerer tribe exploded and died completely. With a wave of his hand, he took the storage rings of the 5 Wu people youth. Amazing! Man Ning and the others looked at Lu Ming, dumbfounded. They had thought that Lu Ming was very powerful, but now they realized that they had underestimated Lu Ming. Lu Ming was simply unfathomable. What did they see? 5 secret techniques of origin. Lu Ming had already cast 5 types of origin secret skills, and 2 of them had already severed the shackles. Was he still human? A monster? More importantly, was this Lu Ming's limit? Was Lu Ming still hiding his strength? The more they looked at Lu Ming, the more they felt that Lu Ming was like a bottomless abyss as deep as the sea. Man Ning's beautiful eyes flashed with joy. She knew that she had made the right bet. She had given Lu Ming a piece of dreamy divine jade in order to befriend Lu Ming. The stronger Lu Ming was, the happier she would be. Chapter 3570. Let's leave this place before the Wu people come again. Lu Ming said. The Wu people were ranked very high even in the wilderness 10,000 races. There would be more than 5 prodigies here. The Sacred Sparrow tribe had a few hundred prodigies. The Wu people were much stronger than the Sacred Sparrow tribe. Their numbers would be even more shocking. If they came in a swarm, Lu Ming would be afraid. Besides, who knew if the Wu people had such terrifying prodigies? If a few monstrous prodigies came and their cultivation was a few levels higher than Lu Ming's, Lu Ming was not confident. All right, let's leave quickly. I think we should find a bigger meteorite with more people on it. That way, the Wu people will be more cautious and won't dare to act recklessly. Man Ning nodded. Immediately, the group of 12 left to search for bigger meteorites. The area around the dragon race's mother planet was empty. There were no other planets. Far away, there were countless meteorites that formed a circle around the dragon race's mother planet. Everyone guessed that these meteorites were probably planets near the dragon clan's mother planet in the past. Back then, those planets had been destroyed, resulting in the formation of meteorites. Soon, Lu Ming and the others found a huge meteorite that looked like a small planet. There were many people gathered on it. They separated in waves. Obviously, they came from different factions. Some had dozens, while others had hundreds. Lu Ming and the others landed. Some people glanced at Lu Ming and the others, but did not care. There were only 12 of them, so there was no need to pay attention to them. Lu Ming and the others found an empty space and sat down cross-legged. They waited quietly. Lu Ming did not relax. He diverted part of his attention to observe the outside world while comprehending the origin divine power factor. Now that his sovereign divine power had awakened 5 times, Lu Ming naturally wanted to awaken his other divine powers as well. One of the benefits of controlling multiple types of God power was that once one type of God power was awakened, such as the 5th awakening of the Sovereign Lord's God power, the other types of God power could be used as a reference. That way, the path of cultivation would be much easier than the first 5 awakenings. Once he awakened 2, 3, or even 5 times, and gained more experience, it would be easier for him to cultivate the higher levels of godly power. Although a few years was not a long time, Lu Ming would seize every moment to cultivate. After that, there were no more accidents. Time flew by quickly. A few years passed in the blink of an eye. It was time for the 10,000 dragon seals on the Dragon Clan's mother planet to weaken. Everyone moved and gathered towards the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Let's go too. Man Ning arrived. They followed the group of people on the meteorite and flew in the direction of the Dragon Clan's mother planet. But not long after they flew out, they were blocked. At least 1,000 people had sealed off the area. The Winged Clan. Many people's expressions changed. There was no doubt that the Winged Clan was a powerful clan in the primitive universe. They were ranked 130 on the primitive 10,000 races list. This was a top-notch clan and was much stronger than the Sacred Sparrow clan. The Winged Clan had branches in various parts of the universe. Lu Ming had encountered many branches of the Winged Clan before. Even the 9 extinction Heavenly King residents of the Taishu dynasty had branches of the Winged Clan. However, the Winged Clan in front of him was obviously not a branch but the main clan of the Winged Clan. You are going to a weak spot on the Dragon Clan's mother planet, right? Come with us. One of the Winged Clan's prodigies said. Everyone looked at each other, but they did not dare to disobey the Winged Clan. They were ranked 130 on the primitive 10,000 races list. Now, the Dragon Clan's mother planet was rejecting the top 100 clans. The top 100 clans did not come, but the top 130 clans were definitely undefeatable. How would an ordinary universe-level force like the Sacred Fire Saber sect dare to say no? Everyone followed the Winged Clan and flew towards the Dragon Clan's mother planet. The closer they got to the Dragon Clan's mother planet, the more they felt the vastness of the Dragon Clan's mother planet. When they were 100 million miles away from the Dragon Clan's mother planet, they stopped. This was because they were almost within the range of the 10,000 dragon seals. If they were to go any further, they would be bombarded by the 10,000 dragon seals. Looking at the Dragon Clan's mother planet from here, it seemed to be shrouded in a layer of fog, and the scenery on the planet could not be seen clearly. This fog was the 10,000 dragon seals. They flew in a direction. This doesn't seem to be any of the 18 weak spots. At this moment, someone spoke. Some people had already studied the specific locations of the 18 weak spots, but the place they were going to did not seem to be any of the 18 weak spots. Hearing this, many people's expressions changed. That's right, this is not any of the 18 weak spots. Some time ago, our Winged Clan discovered a new weak spot. It can be said to be the 19th weak spot. A Winged Clan prodigy said, "A new weak spot?" Many people whispered, "That's right, a new weak spot." A Winged Clan prodigy nodded and said with a smile, "Now, the other 18 weak spots are probably crowded with people. You'll have to queue for a long time if you want to go in. Moreover, if you want to go in, you'll have to pay a large number of divine crystals or monarch pills. However, this new weak spot was discovered by our Winged Clan, and it's under our control. If you want to go in, we won't charge a single cent." "We won't charge a single cent?" Many people's eyes lit up. They didn't charge a single cent, and the number of people was small, so they didn't have to queue. This couldn't be better. However, some people's eyes were filled with doubt and worry. If they didn't charge a single cent, would the Winged Clan be so kind? And they even specially brought them over? They had a bad premonition in their hearts. Not long after, they arrived at their destination. In front of them, in the direction of the Dragon Clan's mother planet, there was an incomparably huge vortex. Like a funnel, it poured down towards the bottom of the Dragon Clan's mother planet. It's really a weak spot. Many people's eyes lit up again. Some people had seen other weak spots before, and they were indeed like vortexes. This was caused by the weakening of the 10,000 dragon seals. Now that the 10,000 dragon seals are at their weakest, it's the best time to enter the dragon clan's mother planet. Alright, you guys can go in. A winged clan prodigy said. Everyone couldn't wait to fly toward the vortex. However, some people stopped, including Lu Ming. They didn't move. Wait a minute, let's see what's going on first. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Man Ning and the others. Man Ning and the others' eyes flickered a few times before they nodded and didn't move. You're only letting us in, but you're not going in yourselves? Someone asked and looked at the winged clan. That was because none of the winged clan's prodigies moved. Instead, they landed outside the vortex and watched from afar. That made people curious. They didn't move, but they let others move. That was abnormal. You guys go in first. We'll naturally go in later. A winged clan prodigy said. Chapter 3571. Many people's expressions changed when they saw the winged men. They had a bad premonition. Even those who were in a hurry to go in stopped. They were not stupid. If they could not see that something was wrong, how could they be called geniuses? The winged men had asked them to enter first, but they did not. Something was obviously wrong. I have friends who are looking for me at another weak point. I'll enter from another weak point. I remember now. I have something to do. I have to leave for a while. Immediately, many people began to find excuses to leave. However, the winged men had already sealed off the area, blocking their way. A powerful aura filled the air. What are you trying to do? Someone's expression changed and asked. Now, everyone knew that there was something wrong with this matter. Those who did not realize that there was something wrong would be fools. If we ask you to go in, you go in. Don't you understand? A winged man's genius shouted coldly, his tone domineering. I don't believe that you'll be so kind as to let us in. This is not a weak point at all, right? Someone shouted. This is a weak point. One of the sky prides from the winged men race said, since you want to know, I will tell you. This is indeed a newly discovered weak point. However, no one has entered it before. You are the first batch. This is your fortune. What? No one has gone in before? Are you asking us to test it? Someone shouted angrily. Obviously, they were being used as guinea pigs by the winged men to pave the way. 10,000 dragon seals were extraordinary and terrifying. Such a weak point that had not been tested was definitely dangerous and full of unknowns. The winged men did not dare to test it themselves, but they brought them here to test it. It was obvious that they were sending them to their deaths. You're sending us to our deaths. Someone shouted. Don't make it sound unpleasant. Sending you to your deaths? What if this weak point can be passed easily? Wouldn't it save you a lot of money? You have to think positively. A winged man's genius sneered. Think positively. Why don't you go in yourselves? Someone shouted. Nonsense. How can trash like you be compared to the geniuses of the winged men clan? Today, even if you don't want to, you have to go in. Finally, someone from the winged men clan lost his patience and shouted coldly. How domineering. We won't go in. Everyone, we have more people. Let's join forces and charge out together. They won't be able to stop us. Someone shouted. There were over 1,000 winged men here, but there were over 2,000 people here. If they worked together, they would definitely be able to charge out. No matter how high the winged men's talent was, those who came here, the highest cultivation was just a third-level divine lord. They were also third-level divine lords. Even if there was a disparity, it would also not be very obvious. Boom boom, everyone was moved. Powerful auras erupted as they were about to rush outside. Lu Ming was mixed in the crowd. He naturally wouldn't stand out. After all, his cultivation was still low, only at the first level of the Divine Lord realm. He could deal with ordinary third-level Divine Lord realm geniuses, but who knew if there were any terrifying monstrous geniuses in the winged men race? Now, it was better to keep a low profile to avoid being targeted. You're courting death. The winged men's sky pride's face turned cold. Swoosh swoosh swoosh, some winged men's sky prides moved. With a flash, they turned into streaks of light and charged forward at an astonishing speed. In the next moment, there were a few screams. In an instant, dozens of people were killed on the spot. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The winged men skyprides who attacked and those who were killed were also third-level divine lords. However, those people didn't have the strength to fight back against the winged men skyprides. They were almost killed in an instant. In a battle of the same level, they were almost killed in an instant. The strength of the winged men skyprides far surpassed the others. Charge together. Someone shouted. Among these people, there were also extremely powerful skyprides who blocked the winged men's skyprides. For example, there was a 5-meter-tall skypride who was covered in rock armor. He was very powerful and was locked in a fierce battle with a winged men's skypride. The higher the race ranking, the stronger the talent and combat strength. However, other races would also give birth to some terrifying monstrous geniuses. These monstrous geniuses might not lose to the races with powerful talents. This youth in rock armor was one such example. He roared and charged outside. Charge! The others took the opportunity to gather and charged outside, wanting to break out of the encirclement of the winged men. However, at this moment, a few divine lights shone out from the winged men's skyprides. They were extremely dazzling and terrifying. As the divine lights swept past, a large number of skyprides exploded, their bodies and souls were destroyed. In just an instant, at least 100 skyprides had died. The others were shocked and quickly retreated. Boundary Emperor! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed as he gasped. Fortunately, he and Man Ning were at the back and weren't hit by the divine lights. Otherwise, they would have died too. Lu Ming was 100% sure that it was a Boundary Emperor who attacked just now, and there was more than one of them. Boundary Emperor, it's a Boundary Emperor. The winged men have violated the rules. Someone shouted in shock. There were terrifying experts guarding the starry sky near the dragon race's mother planet. These experts were from the top 10 sect masters. These experts had long set the rules that those who came here had to meet the conditions to enter the dragon race's mother planet. Now, only those who were third-level divine lords and below could enter. Therefore, those who came here could only be third-level divine lords. Therefore, no matter if it was the Sacred Fire Saber sect or the Sacred Sparrow race, the strongest experts who came here were third-level divine lords. It was the same for the other races and forces. Almost all of them had sent their young skyprides. But now, a Boundary Emperor had appeared among the winged men, which was obviously against the rules. How dare you violate the rules set by the experts of the top 10 races? I'm going to report you. That's right. The winged men will be severely punished. Many people shouted. Haha, ridiculous, really ridiculous. Some despicable races don't even have brains. Do you think that the experts of the top 10 races wouldn't know that a Boundary Emperor of the winged men has come here? The skyprides of the winged men sneered. What? The scene fell silent and many people's faces turned ugly. Indeed, the experts of the top 10 races were extremely powerful. How could they not know that a Boundary Emperor had entered this area? There was only one possibility, which was that those experts had acquiesced. I heard that the winged men and the angel race of the top 10 races have a close relationship. They might even be of the same origin. Is it true? Someone said with an ugly face and a hoarse voice. Chapter 3572. Once these words were spoken, everyone looked at each other in dismay. Their hearts also sank. Many of them had heard of this rumor before. It was said that the winged men and the angels were originally from the same origin, but they eventually split. The angels were extremely powerful and ranked in the top 10 of the primitive 10,000 races. They were the true overlords of the primitive universe. What was even more terrifying was that there was a rumor that the angels had an unusual relationship with the heavenly palace. If that was the case, the angels were even more terrifying. The winged men had the angels as their backing. The top 10 races might have already known that they had secretly sent some quasi-emperors in, but they turned a blind eye to it out of respect for the angels. This was very likely. I'll say it one last time. Go and scout the way or you'll all die. A winged men prodigy shouted coldly. Everyone's expression turned ugly. Although they were all prodigies and most of them had reached the 3rd level of the Divine Lord realm, they were still too weak compared to quasi-emperors. No matter how many of them went, it was useless. They would all be killed. Moreover, there were so many winged men prodigies. Damn it! Many of them roared in their hearts, but they had no choice but to compromise. They could only scout the way for the winged men. They might be able to survive if they went to the weak spot, but they would definitely die if they fought a quasi-emperor. Lu Ming's expression was also very gloomy. A quasi-emperor was not someone he could fight. The difference was too great. They could kill him with a flick of a finger. Of course, he still had a trump card, which was the purple copper coffin. He did not know what was inside the purple copper coffin, but it was extremely terrifying. As Lu Ming's cultivation increased, he felt more and more terrifying inside the purple copper coffin. Even divine lords and quasi-emperors could not compare to it. If he opened the purple copper coffin at all costs, Lu Ming might be able to annihilate everyone here. However, he might also lose his life. Even if he did not die, he would probably be captured or killed. Don't forget that this starry sky had already been sealed off by the top 10 races. Although he couldn't see those experts, he was sure that they were there. Moreover, the purple copper coffin was mysterious and very important. It was definitely related to the primordial divine spirit. If he took it out and those top experts found it, they would most likely kill him and take it away. Therefore, taking out the purple copper coffin here was equivalent to courting death. Under such circumstances, Lu Ming could only choose to attack the weakest point and fight for a chance of survival. Boom! A powerful quasi-emperor aura pressed down on Lu Ming and the others. I'll give you 3 more breaths of time. If you don't move, I'll kill you without mercy. A cold voice sounded. It was the quasi-emperor of the winged men. Go! Many people roared unwillingly, then turned around and rushed toward the weak points. Of course, everyone was very careful. They circulated their divine power and set up layers of defenses around themselves as they slowly flew down. The weak point was like a funnel, causing the smoke to swirl nonstop. Moreover, the range was very large. Lu Ming and the other 2,000 people could fly side by side without any problem. Slowly, they approached the funnel. There was no problem. Then, many people gathered their courage and flew down. A dragon's roar resounded. Suddenly, a huge divine dragon rushed out from the smoke. This was a 6-clawed divine dragon. It was 1,000 meters long and was completely black. It rushed toward a young man and tore down with its dragon claws. Its power was terrifying. Although the young man was prepared, it was useless. Under the dragon claws, his defenses collapsed and his body exploded in the air. Be careful, it's the 10,000 dragon seals. Someone shouted. This divine dragon was not a real divine dragon. It was formed by the 10,000 dragon seals. The 10,000 dragon seals were actually a kind of formation. Following the appearance of the divine dragon, dragon's roar continued to resound. One divine dragon after another appeared. These divine dragons were all formed by the 10,000 dragon seals. There were 6-clawed divine dragons and 7-clawed divine dragons. Every one of them was lifelike. The dragon's roar shook the sky as they charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Screams sounded. Suddenly, more than a dozen people were killed by the divine dragons and torn apart in the void. These divine dragons were very powerful. Even a 3rd-level divine lord would find it difficult to fight against them. Damn it, there's something wrong with this weak point. It's about the same as 33 years ago. Didn't they say that after 33 years, the power of the weak point has decreased? Let's join forces. Many people roared and then joined forces to attack. 7 to 8 people joined forces to fight a divine dragon. Then they rushed down with all their might. There was also a divine dragon that charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Be careful! Man Ning shouted and gathered with the others from the Sacred Fire Saber sect. They slashed out dazzling saber lights. More than a dozen saber lights slashed on a fiery red 6-clawed divine dragon and blocked the divine dragon's attack. The fiery red divine dragon roared and its dragon claws tore through the air. The 6 dragon claws stepped toward Lu Ming and the others, bringing with them a violent force. Lu Ming activated the battle character art and increased his combat strength by 5 times. He circulated his divine power with all his might. At the same time, the tyrant god's spear condensed and shot out. The spear light collided with a dragon claw and exploded with a violent bang. Lu Ming's body shook and he retreated slightly. What a powerful strength! Lu Ming frowned. The power of these condensed divine dragons was very strong. Ordinary 3rd-level divine lord geniuses really found it hard to contend with them, unless it was those monstrous geniuses. I'll be the main attacker. You guys support me. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Man Ning and the rest. Then, an astonishing aura erupted from the tyrant god spear. At the same time, the wind-extinguishing boots condensed and fused with Lu Ming's feet. Lu Ming directly rushed over. The tyrant god's spear pressed down horizontally. As long as 1,000 meters, it continuously resisted the dragon claws of the 6-clawed divine dragon. After 6 consecutive moves, it was hard to determine the victor. While Man Ning and the rest attacked from the side. More than a dozen saber lights slashed on the divine dragon's body, leaving behind more than a dozen long saber wounds, making the divine dragon roar continuously. Effective! The eyes of Man Ning and the rest lit up, speeding up their attacks. With Lu Ming blocking the divine dragon's attacks, they could unleash their power to their heart's content. That 1st-level divine lord kid is very strong. Lu Ming's performance also attracted the attention of some people from the winged men race. Many people looked at Lu Ming. A 1st-level divine lord has such strength. It's unbelievable. I didn't expect that some small races and factions would also have such monstrous geniuses. Should we take him down and force him to reveal his secrets? The winged men race's geniuses discussed. No need. It's not like our winged men race doesn't have such strength. Let's scout the way first. Some winged men race's geniuses shook their heads. Lu Ming didn't know that his performance had already attracted the attention of the winged men race. Under his main attack, the divine dragon retreated step by step. The injuries on its body increased and in the end, Lu Ming's spear swept across its head. Its body directly exploded, turning into energy and dissipating. Chapter 3573. The other divine dragons were also defeated one after another under the joint attack of 7 to 10 people. Among them, there were also some extremely powerful heavens chosen. Their combat strength was much stronger than Man Ning's. They were likely able to jump realms and kill 4th-level divine lord existences. With so many people joining forces, defeating the divine dragon was nothing difficult. Soon, the divine dragons that were just formed were all killed. Lu Ming and the rest lost a few dozen people, which was not too many. The remaining people were divided into different small teams, gathered together, and slowly flew down. At this moment, another dragon roar reverberated through the sky. This dragon roar was even more terrifying than the previous dragon roar. Following that, a terrifying aura spread out and shrouded everyone. Is this the dragon's aura? Someone exclaimed. Their faces were ugly because this dragon's aura was too strong. It was like planets were pressing on their bodies and even their souls. They needed to circulate more than half of their strength to resist this dragon's aura. What a strong dragon's aura! Lu Ming frowned. Under the suppression of this dragon's aura, his divine power was extremely difficult to circulate. It was several times more difficult than before. His cultivation was directly suppressed from 1st-level Divine Lord to below Divine Lord. At this moment, dragon roars sounded and divine dragons appeared one after another. They were similar to the divine dragons just now, but there were more of them, reaching a shocking several hundred. Not good. This time, not only Lu Ming, but the rest's faces also changed drastically. Now, their strength was suppressed by the dragon's aura and so many divine dragons appeared. How were they going to fight? The moment the several hundred divine dragons appeared, they pounced on the group. Screams sounded. Many people were directly torn apart by the divine dragons. Even if more than 10 people joined forces, It was useless because they were suppressed too badly. If a fourth-level divine lord or above or a divine emperor came in, they would be crushed to death. Two divine dragons pounced on Lu Ming and the rest. It's over. Man Ning and the rest's faces changed drastically. Can my primordial divine blood withstand this dragon's aura? At this moment, Lu Ming thought of the primordial divine blood. With a thought, Lu Ming activated a portion of the primordial god blood's power. Immediately, a layer of red light appeared on his body, and that dragon might was neutralized. It really worked. Lu Ming was delighted. The tyrant god's spear swung out, transforming into two spear lights that swept towards the two divine dragons. After two rumbling sounds, he successfully blocked the attacks of the two divine dragons. He blocked it. Man Ning and the rest were overjoyed. However, while Lu Ming and the others managed to block it, the others were not so lucky. Hundreds of divine dragons pounced, and in an instant, hundreds of people were killed. The remaining people were scared out of their wits as they frantically retreated. Retreat! Lu Ming, Man Ning, and the others also retreated with the crowd. However, those mystical dragons roared and crazily pounced on them. These divine dragons were formed by the formation. They did not have any intelligence and did not fear death. They only knew how to hunt down the invaders. Thus, people continued to die. After a few breaths, another few hundred people had died. Originally, there were about 2,000 people, but now, there were only about 700 to 800 people left. These were all geniuses from various powerful forces. Any one of them would have been able to suppress everyone in the Taishu Holy Court and become a top expert of the younger generation. However, in a few breaths' time, more than 1,000 of them had fallen. Lu Ming deeply felt the cruelty of the primitive universe. In small places, the competition was cruel. In big places, the competition was even crueler. Run! Many people shouted and frantically retreated. Go back! Go back and explore the way. The winged men's geniuses had completely blocked their retreat. At this moment, thousands of winged men's geniuses attacked together, and the rolling waves of attacks surged towards Lu Ming and the others. Many people were directly killed. You guys are so despicable. Damn it. Winged men, you will die a horrible death. Many people shouted. However, it was useless. The winged men's geniuses continued to attack, and the terrifying attacks suppressed them. There were even quasi-emperors who attacked. With a flash of divine light, more than 10 people were killed. As long as the quasi-emperors did not get within the range of the 10,000 dragon seals, they would be fine. With the winged men's geniuses blocking the way behind and the divine dragons in front, they were in a desperate situation. In the end, many people could only rush towards the weak points, hoping to break out of the encirclement and kill their way out. They gathered together and attacked crazily. They really defeated a few divine dragons and rushed down. Lu Ming, Man Ning, and the others could only turn around and kill their way down. However, there were too many divine dragons. Lu Ming could not protect everyone. After a while, 5 of the Sacred Fire Saber sect's geniuses were killed, and only 6 of them were left. Everyone fought with their lives and paid the price of 500 to 600 people. The remaining 200 people finally broke through the encirclement and reached the bottom. They were about to reach the bottom of the funnel. As long as they rushed down from the bottom of the funnel, they might be able to enter the dragon race's mother planet. However, at this moment, an even more terrifying dragon roar sounded. Then, huge divine dragons appeared. These divine dragons had 9 dragon claws on their abdomens. 9-clawed dragon. There were more than 100 9-clawed dragons. Although these mystical dragons were all fake and had been formed by the formation, the 9-clawed mystical dragons that had been formed were still much stronger than the other mystical dragons. We're finished. We're dead. Many people cried out loudly, their faces full of despair. There were other divine dragons behind them. In front, there was a 9-clawed dragon. They would not survive. This weak point was not that weak. It was too dangerous. It was even more dangerous than the other 18 weak points 33 years ago. 33 years ago, although the other 18 weak points were also very dangerous, Some people had passed through them and expressed their views in the illusory sacred jade. They were not that dangerous. It was impossible to break through this place. No one could break through. It was a dead end. The 9-clawed divine spirits roared. Their dragon claws stepped on the air, and the geniuses screamed as their bodies were torn apart and crushed. Lu Ming and the others were also attacked by more than 10 9-clawed dragons. Retreat! At this moment, Lu Ming pulled Man Ning and retreated quickly. Now, he could only take care of Man Ning. He could not care about the others from the sacred fire saber sect. Man Ning had given him the illusory sacred jade. He would remember this kindness. In the process of retreating, Lu Ming waved his hand and controlled the gate of domination. He repelled a few divine dragons behind him and avoided the attacks of the 9-clawed dragon in front. However, the others were not so lucky. They were attacked from the front and back and were killed one after another. In an instant, only Lu Ming and Man Ning were left. The others were all dead. Lu Ming and Man Ning naturally attracted the attention of all the divine dragons. The remaining divine dragons pounced on Lu Ming and Man Ning. Their auras were extremely violent. It was as though Lu Ming and Man Ning would be torn apart in the next moment. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.